Okay, for today's discussion, we will continue the unit 1 on the introduction to accounting information system. So to continue that, yung ngayon na i-discuss natin is the difference between management information system and the accounting information system. The only difference between accounting information system and management information system is simply the treatment of financial and non-financial transactions. Why? Because under management information system, okay, it will not process non-financial transactions. Okay? I mean, the accounting information system, by the way pala, rather, no, the accounting information system, okay, will only process financial transactions, while the management information system will only process the non-financial transactions. Take note, okay, yung accounting information, ipaprocess lang niya yung mga accounting related or financial transactions that will affect the output of the accounting information system. While the management information system will focus on processing the non-financial transactions. Example of non-financial transactions is yung pag-determine ng mga complaints of the customers as to your sold products. Hindi na po yan ipaprocess ng accounting information system because it will never affect the elements of accounting. Another example is yung management information system will just process how employees are being hired. Pero on the part of accounting information system, the hiring of employees will never affect the output of accounting information system. So that's why the accounting information system will never process the non-financial transaction. However, there are non-financial transactions, no? Okay, that can be processed by AIS. Okay, that is the general rule, yun. That MIS processes non-financial transactions, then the AIS processes the financial transactions. However, pwedeng mag-process ang AIS ng non-financial transactions. What non-financial transactions yung pwedeng i-process ng accounting information system? These are all these transactions that have a direct effect on the financial transaction. Again, general rule, management information system will only process non-financial transactions, and the accounting information system will process financial transaction. However, AIS can process non-financial transaction that have direct effect on the processing of the financial transaction. That is the exception of the general rule. Okay. So, we have AIS subsystems, no? The accounting information system is divided into 3 subsystems. Okay? So, these 3 subsystems will be discussed expoundedly on the next preceding chapters. Okay, however, we need to have a short short idea what are these subsystems are. Number 1, we have the transaction processing system. Ano po yung transaction processing system? This system is responsible on converting economic events into financial transaction. That's number 1. The second one, responsibility of this transaction processing system is recording financial transactions in the accounting records. And lastly, as part of the transaction processing system is distributing financial information to operations personnel to support daily operation. So, yung transaction processing system only focus on conversion of economic events into financial transaction. That's number one, ha? Take note. And the second one is recording those financial transaction into its appropriate accounting records. And then the third one is distribution of the financial information, okay, to personnels, no, that requires the financial information. The second subsystem is the general ledger and the financial reporting system. So, ano po yung ginagawa ng system na to? Well, this system is responsible of producing the output of AIS. And what is the output of the accounting information system? Simply the financial statements and reports. So, kung si transaction processing system nandoon ang pag-generate ng mga accounting transaction, si general ledger or financial reporting system is responsible already on producing the financial statement or reports, the summarized, okay, data, okay, that being processed under the transaction processing system na ipinasok na sa general ledger or financial reporting system. And the last subsystem is the management reporting system. The management reporting system naman produces also reports, no? It produces reports. However, what type of report? A report for a special purpose. Take note, a special purpose reports are internal reports. Ibig sabihin ng internal reports, these are used for internal purposes only. So, the management reporting system produces this special purpose reports for internal use, such as identifying the number of units sold, okay, identifying if the company able to exceed from its target sales. Those are management reports produced by the management reporting system. So hopefully, no, we can able to understand what are the differences between these three subsystem: the transaction processing system, the general ledger or financial reporting system, and the management reporting system. Okay, as continuation with our discussion, we will discuss naman the general, no, okay, elements of AIS. Ano, okay? Of AIS. Ngayon, what are the general elements, okay? Or the elements of general AIS, okay? Of AIS. According to a particular person named James Hall, no? James Hall. A the elements of a general AIS model, no, okay, the elements of a general AIS model, okay, of general AIS model composed of the following. Una, we have what we call the external sources of data. So, ano po yung external sources of data? Or the data sources, okay? The data sources can be, okay, the sources of our data can be internal and external. Okay, take note, ha? The sources of our data for an AIS model, okay, can be internal and external. Okay? So, what are internal sources? Okay? These are internal financial transactions. Okay? Internal financial transactions. Which involves, okay, the exchange or movement of resources within the organization. Ibig sabihin lang po nun, these are transaction within the organization that affects the resources of the organization. Example of this are the movement of raw materials to work in process, or the application of labor and overhead to work in process. These are internal transactions. Another is the transfer of work in process into the finished goods inventory. These are internal financial transactions. Okay? And additional internal data transaction is by determining the depreciation expense of a particular plant asset or non-financial asset. Okay? So, those are internal financial transaction. Another source of data or data source no is the external financial transactions. From the word external, these are economic changes with other business entities and individuals outside the firm. um, Basic example of this, if you are a merchandising type of business, selling of your inventories. These are an example of external financial transaction. Or the acquisition of inventory subject for sale. So these are external transaction. Another is cash receipt from a bank loan. This is a basic example of a external financial transaction. Another element, okay, that's the first element, the data source. The second element is what we call data collection. Okay, data collection. Okay. Ano naman po yung sinasabi sa data collection? Under data collection, no, okay, is the first operational stage. Take note, the data collection is the first operational stage. Okay? It's the first operational stage. Okay? In the information system. The objective is to ensure that the data entering the system are valid, complete, and free from material errors. In many respects, this is the most important stage in the system. Okay? The collection of data. Take note, your objective on data collection is to ensure that the data being entered in the system are free from errors. It means it is correct, valid, and complete. Okay? Because the data collection is the first operational stage of an accounting information system. Why it is the first and important, okay, stage in the system? Because whatever data you enter into that system, okay, if it is wrong, full of error, the output or the report that the information system, the accounting information system that will produce will also be consistent with the inputs, okay, or transactions that you have entered on that system. Okay, for example, no, okay, in a this is a real story. A particular accountant entered no a data, okay, coming from an external source. However, he was not able to recognize which one will be debited or credited. And then he wasn't able to determine whether the transaction is financial transaction or non-financial transaction. And then he wasn't also able to identify whether or not the transaction is valid, complete, and free from material errors. After that, no, okay, after nung nangyaring yun, naipasok nga kasi tanga-tanga eh. Okay, yung effect, the financial statement at the year end is full of material errors. So, this is a very important no stage of the accounting information system, that data collection. Make sure that the data being collected are free from material errors. These are valid and complete prior prior you enter that into the system. Okay? two rules that governing the design of data collection procedure. Okay, we need to consider the rules. We have two rules on this. Okay, what are the rules on data collection? Number one, we have what we call relevance, no? Relevance. And the second one we have the efficiency. Okay? So what relevance means, no, on data collection? Relevance, ibig sabihin on data collection, we need to collect data that are very relevant, okay, on the business organization. Okay, so if you believe that the data that you have gathered or collected is very irrelevant, it will not affect any economic decisions or any element of the accounting, okay, well, that is irrelevant at all. So make sure that you determine the relevance of that particular data. Another is the efficiency. Make sure that once you collect data, you collect it only once, no? Um, but it's not absolute, okay? If you want to have a deeper understanding on the data you have collected, okay, make sure you can ask for another one. But for efficiency purposes, just collect once, no? Ibig sabihin, kumolekta ka once, pero lahat na dapat nandun na. Anything that you want, no, to identify, anything that you want to determine, or anything that you want to clarify, nakuha mo na yon, hindi pa utay-utay kasi it will affect efficiency. Okay, take note. The third element is, okay, what we called the data processing. Okay, we have data processing. Data processing. Okay. Okay, what is data processing? Data processing, once collected, okay, data usually require processing to produce information. Okay, so we will process the data. Take note, data are raw, no? These are raw. Ibig sabihin, unprocessed. Okay, once it is being processed, once we process the data, it will produce an information. Okay, take note, it will produce an information, which is very useful in making economic decision. Tasks in the data processing stage range from simple to complex. Okay, consider the questions below. We need to consider the questions, okay, whether, okay, how to process the data. Okay, una, the first question, the decision guide is, which processing tools should the AIS use? Which processing tools, okay, should the AIS use? Ano po ba ang kasagutan sa tanong na to? In data processing, for example, no, because sometimes a computerized accounting information has a different system, no, incorporated. For example, my system for disbursement, my system for collection, my system for receivable, my system for inventory. If you want to process data related to inventory, obviously, saan mo siya ipapasok, no? What tool of the system are you going to use? Well, we will use the inventory system because that is the proper way. Oh, that's the proper system. Unless otherwise, the inventory system, okay, no, kulang sa laman ng system na yan para i-process yung cost of sales. So, you need to look for another system that will process that, okay, no, information. So, you need to answer the question, which processing tool should the AIS use once we are processing the data? That's the first question. On selecting the appropriate subsystem or system of the or part of the accounting information system. The second one is, Should the tools be manual, computer-based, or both? Okay, that's the second one. Should the tools be manual, okay, computer-based, or both? Okay? So, obviously, no, hindi naman lahat ng bagay in the real world, we use computerized system lahat. Sometimes, because of limited resources, there are companies using manual. However, for more relevant and should I say para meron paper trail, okay, they both use the computer based or the manual based. So we need to answer that question, okay, on data processing. Okay, the fourth element that we need to consider, okay, is the database management. Okay, this is the last, okay, database management. Okay, what is this database management? Okay, take note, the database management, once we say database, no, database pa lang ha, without the word management, database refers to the physical repository for financial and non-financial data. So, ibig sabihin, dito po itatago. Yung database, yun po, doon po nakatago lahat ng data. That is the database, wherein non-financial and financial transactions are being stored. That's the database. Ano naman yung sinasabing database management? This refers to the management and control of the data. Okay? Make sure that an accounting information system that you have, merong tinatawag na database management. Bakit kailangan to? Take note, on accounting, we have what we call this characteristic of confidentiality. And then, we need to control and manage um, who can only, no, who can only access, okay, the database, okay, because we want to prevent, okay, from leaking those data because those are confidential. Another purpose of a database management, okay, as an element of a AIS model, is that the database, okay, management, okay, system of the AIS system is that it will give us, no, yung sinasabing archiving, no, at least um nakastore lahat doon. Okay, anytime we want to collect data from past transactions, nandoon yon. That's the purpose of a database management. Okay, so those are the common, okay, elements of a general AIS model. In some AIS models, dinadagdagan nila yon, no? Pero itong apat na to are the basic. We can expound that depending on the business model. Pero generally, kung generic, itong apat na to are always present on a accounting information system. Okay? So, um, another is the data management task, no? Okay, as part of the data management, database management, it has the storage, the retrieval, and deletion. That's the purpose of a database management. We can retrieve, we can store, or we can even delete, okay, data being stored on the database. Okay, another element, okay, this is the last one, the last element that we need to consider for a generic AIS model is yung tinatawag na information generation. Okay, so obviously, no, the AIS, the accounting information system will be worthless if it cannot able to generate information. Okay, yun nga yung purpose, 'di ba, ng magkaroon ng accounting information system, because in order for us to generate accounting information, an information na prinase, data that are being processed and converted into information. It is the process of compiling, arranging, okay, formatting, and presenting information to users. Information usually presented in one of three forms. We have the document, a report, or a response to an inquiry. Okay? Or a response to a query. Okay? So, once we have generated an information, it can be in a form of a document, in a form of a report, or a response to a query. Pag sinasabing report yon, no, it is a response related to what you are asking from the system. Once we talk about documents, these are records of transactions. Okay? Those are different things. Documents are records of transactions or other company data. Okay, such as okay, invoices, um, yung sinasabing mga checks, okay? These are documents. For example, voucher. These are documents being generated in the accounting information system. Pag sinabi namang report, okay, if you want to answer whether the company is profitable, we need to have a report, because a report will answer a query. Okay, and what type of report that we need to generate? That is the financial statement in a form of a statement of comprehensive income. So that is a report. Okay? So, characteristic of useful information. Take note. Okay? In order for the generated information useful, dapat the information has the following characteristic. Okay? Number one, okay, these are the characteristics. Character, charac, characteristics of a good information or relevant information. Okay? Nice. Number one, we have what we called, okay, relevance, no? Okay. Para hindi redundant, gawin po natin characteristics of a useful information. Of a useful information. Okay? That is relevance. The second one is what we call reliable. Dapat reliable yung information. And then the third one, we have what we called completeness. Okay? Well, anyways, no, I don't need to, I am not obliged to discuss, anyways, these characteristics profoundly, because these are being taught on your um, financial accounting. We have number 4, we have the timeliness, okay, no? The fifth one, we have the understandability, okay. The sixth one, we have the verifiability, okay, okay, verifiability, okay. Itong anim na to, guys, if you're going to observe, these are ingredients, or sometimes the composition of the essential and fundamental, the enhancing and the fundamental characteristic of a quantitative, of a financial information, no? Pero to include, no, a useful information in the accounting information, dapat meron po siyang sinasabing accessibility. Okay? It can be accessed anytime. Okay? Kasi pero hindi naman open to all. Okay? Accessible lang. Okay? hindi naman ibig sabihin na accessible to all. For the persons authorized for the particular information can access the information that they want, okay, from the accounting information system. Yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay, number 6. Okay, we have the element of end users. Okay, take note, an accounting information generated by the accounting information system will be worthless if the end users, okay, if this information will not add value, okay, to the users. Okay, take note, in accounting we have two different end users of accounting information. We have the external users and the internal users. Once we say external users, these are users of the accounting information that do not have any direct relationship with the business organization. Pag sinabi namang internal users, these are within the business organization, such as the employees, the management, okay, even the stockholders themselves, okay. And the last element that is very much important also on the accounting information system is yung tinatawag po nating feedback, okay, the feedback. Okay, why feedback is an element, no, of a accounting information system? Take note, a feedback is a form of output that is sent back to the system as a source of data. Feedback may be internal or external and is used to initiate or alter a process. Because of a feedback, no, okay, these are data sent back or output being sent back, no, to the system. Okay, this feedback will give new updates, upgrades to the system. Okay, so that's the purpose of the feedback. Okay, so okay, next discussion that we are going to discuss naman is yung tinatawag na mga organization structure. Okay, let's talk about the organization structure. Okay, organization structure is a structure of an organization. Helps to allocate responsibility, okay, authority, and accountability throughout the organization. Okay? This includes what we call segmenting. Okay? Segmenting. By business function is a very common method of organizing. Pag sinasabing segmenting, we are trying to divide, no, certain responsibility and authority and accountability. So that's why pag sinasabing anong segment ka, anong department ka, that is segment, okay? So the forms of organization structure are by geographic region or by business segment or product line or by functional segmentation. Take note, ha, the forms of organizational structure are any of the following, okay? Forms of organizational structure, okay, organizational structure, okay, can be in a form of geographic, okay, geographic region, okay, we have the what we call the business segment or product line, and the last one is the functional segmentation. Between the three forms of organization, okay, organizational structure, the most common use, no, organizational structure is the functional segmentation. Okay, again, no, from the three forms of organizational structure, okay, the most commonly used is yung tinatawag na functional segmentation. Ano po ba ang functional segmentation? Okay? The functional segmentation are divided into um, eight eight components, okay? Or segments. Okay? Take note, ha? The functional segmentation or the functional segmentation form of an organization are divided into eight segments or department. Okay. The first department is the materials management function. Okay, take note. Number one, we have the materials. Okay, the materials management function. Okay, okay, that's the first segment under the functional segmentation organizational structure. The materials management function is to plan and control the materials inventory of the company. That's the purpose of that particular segment. Okay? In a manufacturing firm, must have a sufficient inventories on hand to meet its production. Under materials management function, it includes yung tinatawag na purchasing of inventory, the receiving of this inventory, and the storage of this inventory. That is the responsibility of the materials management function or part of the functional segmentation organizational structure. Another, okay, the second is yung tinatawag natin na production. Okay, the production. Okay. Under the production segment, all activities that occur in the conversion or production cycle or the conversion of raw materials into a finished good are part of this department or segment, the production. It includes also the production planning, okay, as to how many orders, raw materials or materials inventory or finished good inventories and machine and labor that is available, okay, in the production. So on production planning, you need to make sure, okay, that how many sales orders are there, and then from that sales order, how many raw materials or finished goods that we need to have in order to provide those sales order, how many labor hours are required in order to finish those orders. Another function, no, or part of the production is the quality control. Pag sinabi pong quality control, it is about monitoring any defect or problems that may arise, okay, in the production process. That make sure that you need to detect those problems as early as possible because that's the responsibility of the production. And then the last one is the maintenance, okay? Maintaining or keeping the factory resources in efficient and effective order. So that is the um, most common activities on the production. The third is what we call marketing. Okay, we have the marketing. What is marketing? Okay, it deals with the strategic problems of promoting the product, advertising, and to identify who are the what we call this, yung mga target consumers of the particular product. Okay, that's the marketing. Then the fourth one, we have the distribution. Okay, the distribution. Distribution. What is distribution naman? Distribution is the activity of getting the product to the customers after the sale. Okay? It is it is the activity of getting the product to the customers of the after the sale. Ibig sabihin nun, yung may distribute mo yung product, okay, after the sale transaction. Then we have the fifth one, okay, E, okay. Palitan ko lang to ng letra, gawin kong D, okay. And then we have letter E, the human resource management, okay. The human resource management is to effectively manage the competent and reliable employees. Under this department, you are responsible no, on managing people. So that's the human resource management. And then we have the sixth one, okay? We have the what we called finance, no? As a component, no? Under functional segmentation na organizational structure. Under finance, obviously, alam naman po natin yun, anong responsibility ng finance is to manage the financial resources of the firm through banking and treasury activities, credit evaluation and cash disbursement, and including its cash receipts or collection. And then, the seventh element or component, okay, is yung tinatawag na the accounting function. Okay? Even though sometimes the accounting function can be part of the finance, however, take note, accounting is different from finance. Okay? So that's why we can separate no that particular department, the accounting function. Remember, under the accounting function, we captures and records the financial effect of the firm's transaction. Okay? And then we distribute these transactions, okay, to operation personnel to coordinate many things or many of their key tasks. Okay? And then we prepare, under accounting function, we prepare financial reports or statements. And last, but certainly not the least, okay, is the IT. IT or computer service program. Okay? Okay. Computer services functions. Okay? So, under the IT or computer services, this function is organized into two structures. We have the centralized data processing, okay? The centralized data processing. And then we have what we call the distributed data processing, okay? Distributed data processing. Okay. So what is a centralized data processing? Okay. Once we say a centralized data processing, all data processing is performed by one or more large computers housed at a central site that serve users throughout the organization. Ibig sabihin, pag centralized data processing, isa lang po yung main source, no? Lahat ng mga data are not totally main source. Lahat po ng data from the different departments are being stored in a one database. And that dun sila or sabihin natin in a IT service provider, no? Ilalagay doon lahat. Okay? So, sila na po ang magproproseso noon. And then, for distributed data processing, it involves of reorganizing the computer or IT services function into small information processing units. So, pag sinasabing decentralized, lahat ng information can be generated on that particular day, on that particular system. Pag sinasabing distributed data processing, yung malaking data processing on the centralized are being divided into small ones. So, i-distribute po yun. So, bawat distribution, they can produce their own information lamang. That is for them. Okay? Ganun po yun. Um, merong mga companies na ginaganon, no? Okay? Parang may central and then may distributed. Okay? Para hindi naman lahat ng bagay dependent ang mga ibang um, ibang parts, okay, na maging dependent sa central. Okay? However, there are certain disadvantages on that. And for example, one of its disadvantage on distributed data processing, kasi maraming may control. Yun yung isa, no? The internal control system on that particular data masyadong maluwag. Okay? So anytime it can be pwede siyang ma-access. Okay? So yun lang yung problema doon. Okay? So and then the role of the accountant on the accounting information system, that would be our last topic on Unit 1. Okay, and next week, we will continue on Unit 2, guys, ha? Okay? I will post na lang, ha, sa common, close group natin, and even in the group chat na meron tayo. Okay, the role of accountant are divided into three. Number 1, we have the system user. Okay? We have the second one, the system designer. Okay? Ayun, no? And the third one, we have what we call the system auditor. Okay? As accountants, okay, we are users of this AIS. Yes. Because having an accounting information system, okay, it will give us easy way on generating information. So we are system users. System designers, ano naman yung system designers? Pag sinasabing system designers, we are trying to identify or able to determine what would be the structure of the system. That's system design. We are system designer. Because, okay, no, for example, because you are an accountant, you knew how documents must be transferred from one element of the system to another element. So we are a designer, no? And then at the same time, we knew what flow yung dapat i-follow. So we are a designer of a system. At the same time, we are also auditors. Why? Because we try to review, okay, whether the data or the information that can be generated, okay, from that particular system is very reliable. So we review, okay, and we try to validate, okay, whether the information of the data and the whether the data or the information are very reliable. Because through this, we can provide confidence to the public na maging dependent sila sa system na meron doon. Okay? So, that ends my discussion on the first in the Unit 1 of Accounting Information System. Hopefully, you can able to understand the discussion on Unit 1. Okay?